Everybody doing today? Good? Everybody good? Con. All praises. All right, so I want to get to class. Got a lot to cover, so I'm gonna try to get through this in a speedy fashion. I want to say shalom to everybody that's online, everybody that's coming in. We appreciate you, and we hope that today's class gives you a edifying time and of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So today's class is entitled "The Art of War: Destroying the Black Family Structure." All right, destroying the Black family structure. Okay, why is it important to destroy the Black family structure? Anybody? Do me a favor, Tahar, can you grab that mic? Why is it important to destroy the Black family structure? Anybody? Tahar, you got the mic. You can go ahead and answer it. Shalom. Shalom to everybody online. Shalom, Sister Milka, we see you. Go ahead, Tahar.
In my opinion, it's to keep us from knowing who we truly are.
Okay, so to keep us from knowing who we truly are. Okay, all right, con. The reason why I entitled this "The Art of War" is because, you got a lot of people today. They say they tired of the Hebrews on the street corners, right? They tired of the Hebrews talking. They want you to slap white women. All right, this is what they think a revolution is. You got people out there that think a revolution is slapping white women and shooting up white grocery stores. That's not a revolution. All right, that's not a revolution. Matter of fact, I would not encourage anybody to go shoot up a white grocery store. All right, if you go shoot up a white grocery store, you're gonna go to jail or get killed, and your name's gonna be forgotten in a couple of years. That's not how you lead a revolution. All right. The first thing we got to understand is that war is an art. Okay, war is an art. War is not something that somebody just wakes up and say, "Hey, today I'm just gonna go out and start killing people." That's not war. Even gangbangers understand that. Gangbangers have enough sense to understand that war is an art form, right? And the greatest of us in terms of war, right? What's the best war that's fought? What's the best war that's fought? One that you never had to fight. The best war is a war that you won and you didn't have to fight, meaning you didn't lose any soldiers, you didn't lose any men. What real general wants to lose men? No real general wants to lose soldiers. No real general wants to go to war in terms of going and bringing their military out, because you know how much money that takes, right? So the reason why I titled this "The Art of War" is because everybody understands that war is an art form except black and brown people in America. And the first thing that they had to do was target the family structure, right? Because of this. Go to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. Sirach chapter 25, verse 1.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha, chapter 25, verse 1.
All right, Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. Read.
In three things I was beautified.
All right, what did the Lord like? He said in three things he was beautified, right? Which means that was beautiful before him. Read.
And stood up beautiful both before God and man.
Says there's three things that the Most High said was beautiful between God and man. What were those three things? Read.
The unity of brethren.
The unity of brethren. Read.
The love of neighbors.
The love of neighbors. Read.
A man and a wife that agree together.
Why are these three things beautiful before God? What do these three things have in common? What do these three things have in common? It's okay if you don't know. Does anybody know? Anybody want to take a guess? It's okay. These three things have in common nation building. You got to love your neighbor, because if you don't love your neighbor, what happens in your community? Chaos, anarchy, fighting, murders, right? The unity of brethren. Can you have a society of people without unity? We all have to agree on one universal principle, right? See, this is why the Israelites teach the way we teach, and we teach this Bible, because we want to unify under the guidelines of the scriptures. You have a lot of people that don't understand what this Bible teaches, right? The white man knows what this Bible teaches. That's why he was able to use it against you as a weapon, and for a long period of time did not want you reading it. Because a lot of people don't understand that revolutions were started off of the Bible, like Nat Turner. Everybody know who Nat Turner is? Right? Nat Turner used the Bible to create a revolution, right? And he was not the only one. So the Bible says there's three things that stood before God that was beautiful: brethren that love each other, brethren in unity, and a man and a woman that agree together. Why is a man and a woman that agree together beautiful before God? Because you cannot have a community without a family structure. The family structure is a small nucleus of the larger community. For example, in America, all family structures keep Christmas, right? So in the larger sense of the community, what are you going to have? A big old Christmas tree in a shopping center. What is that letting you know that the families observe? Christmas. So the family structure is a small nucleus of the community. So now if you have a broken family structure, what are you going to have in terms of a community? You're going to have a broken community. You understand? So this is why when you look in black and brown communities, our communities are broken. Why? Because the family structure is broken. You understand? And this was done strategically. That's why when you get clowns like Charleston White, right? Charleston White the clown. When you get cats like him and say, just give me 10 black people, we go shoot up and we'll do more than what they did. We'll just go shoot some stuff up. Okay, you're going to go shoot some stuff up. You're going to die or go to jail. And what's going to happen to your family structure? Hip hop's going to raise them. Cardi B's going to raise them. Nicki Minaj going to raise them. Give me a male rapper. Little something with a baby in it. Little Baby's going to raise them. Duh Baby's going to raise them. Duh Baby. Right? Yeah, just retarded, right? And now you see what happens when the family is destroyed. You cannot win a war without first winning the family back. We got a lot of work to do, family. The Hebrew Israelites is such a powerful movement because guess what? This is a community. Do you understand that? This is a community, and in this community makes up what? Many different families, right? Everybody got their own kids. Everybody got their own wives. Everybody got their own husbands, right? And we come together, and guess what? Everybody in here, we form a community. So what you guys don't understand is that you guys are leading a revolution without even knowing it. Did y'all know that? Y'all in a revolution, and you didn't even know it. You in a revolution right now, and you didn't know it because you think, oh yeah, I just believe in the Most High. We come together and we read the Bible, and we're adhering to the principles of the Bible, but you're causing a revolution because a revolution is something that what? Goes against the status quo of what's set. And that's what we're doing in here. So read that one more time, Lot.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 1. In three things I was beautified.
Read.
And stood up beautiful both before God and man.
Read.
The unity of brethren.
Read.
The love of neighbors.
Read.
A man and a wife that agree together.
A man and a wife that agree together. The unity of brethren. So when you see the Hebrew Israelites marching in strong numbers, shout out to IUIC, and you see the brothers marching in strong numbers, and you say that ain't doing nothing. Well, it's really doing something because you know what it's showing? It's showing unity. You ever seen ants? Y'all know that song? The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah. Y'all know that song? Right. Why is it important when ants crawl? Or let's use America's system. When you see the army of America, aren't those soldiers in order? Aren't those soldiers in rank? Any army for that matter, aren't they in rank? Right? What kind of army is black people got right now? Nothing. We're not in order. So when brothers go out there and in solidarity and show like, look, we're here in strength and numbers and unison, that's power. The white man says, oh, snap. Them niggas is getting together and protesting. But he try to act like he's not really afraid, but he really afraid. Them Negroes is getting together, organizing. Don't think that the white man is not creating something to devise a plan, sending out industry bots like Charleston White and all these other clowns to talk bad about us. The white man's doing that strategically. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of something, right? So now, if you see an army of brothers together and order like that, what are you going to think about each and one of those brothers' families? Order. Now it's even a deeper fear, because when you see men in order like that, what do you think about the women automatically? Just automatically. Like, the women don't even necessarily got to be in order, but just automatically you think the women must be in order. If the men is like that, then the women must be in order. And if the women is in order, who's else in order? The children, you see? And if the children is in order, the next generation is in order. And if the next generation is in order, what happens to Esau's power? It's over. Y'all don't understand what the Hebrews is doing. Y'all don't understand the Hebrews got the answers. We got the answers, Sway. You understand? We got the answers. This book right here. And guess what? We're not even going to be biased. If any nation of people pick up this book, they'll have power. Did America pick up this book? Did they have power? But now they're losing their power. Why is America losing their power? Because they're running away from this book. See that? They're running away from this book. I'm going to tell you something. Let's go from there. Go to Judith chapter 5, verse 1. Judith chapter 5, verse 1. Brothers that are in the chat, the out-of-state brothers, I see Emmanuel, he's in there. If Ishire's in there, can you guys write the scriptures in the chat so the family online can get the scriptures? I see Emmanuel on there. If you could do that for me, or any other brothers that's on there, that'd be greatly appreciated. The Water brothers, go ahead. Judith chapter 5, verse 1.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 1.
Read.
Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Asher.
All right, this is why it's important to read, Charleston White, and all the people that think that it's not important to read. All you niggas do is read books. I would hope so. I will hope you read a book, because if you don't know what happened, especially history, because if you don't know what happened in your past, how can you see where you're going? You don't know where the hell you headed. So I will hope you will read a book. This is one of the biggest reasons why. Read it again.
The book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 1.
Read.
Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Asher.
So this is the army of Assur, which is Assyria, and they want to come up against Israel to take Israel down. Learn from this story. Read.
That the children of Israel have prepared for war.
All right. So they prepare for war against the children of Assyria. Right. Read.
And had shut up the passages of the hill country.
And
have fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries.
Right. So just to give you guys a little brief history of what was going on with the nation of Israel at this time, which we can learn from, is the Assyrians wanted to go to war against Israel. But did the Assyrians just go and start blowing stuff up? No, they sent a message and said, look, we need y'all to be tributaries to us, because they don't want to go to war either. They just didn't march blindly and start just fighting and all that. No, he says, look, we want you guys to serve our gods. We want you guys, and we're going to send a diplomat. Y'all seen that movie 300? Did they just start randomly fighting, or did they send somebody out? Send somebody out, go talk to them and let them know that this is the new regime, and they either going to accept it or not. So this is what happened with Israel. They said, look, but what Israel did was they kindly declined, and they said, no, we're going to prepare for war. So they fortified their countries and their areas to protect their families and to die for their nation if need be, right? Read. Let's see what happened. Read.
Verse 2. Wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast.
So he was mad. He was like, you know what? To hell with these Israelites. They think they're going to fight against me after I extended my hand in peace to tell them to serve my gods? Okay, get everybody that's in tributaries to me, and I need to find out about this people. Because do you go to war and you don't know anything about your enemy? This is why dumb people like Charleston White is stupid, and that's why he's an industry plant. Because how the hell you going to fight against your enemy? You don't even know what the hell he is. Your enemy don't want you to. He wants you to be stupid. Just go out there and start randomly shooting. No, you got to learn your enemy, right? Watch this. Read.
Verse 3. And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is.
All right. So he wants to inquire who the nation of Israel is. And let's see what happens. Read verse 17. So now you're going to have one of the captains of Moab is going to stand up and he's going to say, look, I'm going to tell you who this nation of Israel is. Right. So he proceeds to give them the history. He proceeds to break it down and let them know, look, well, these people started from Mesopotamia all the way to Egypt, all the way to the wilderness, all the way to their country. He's giving them the history. He's laying it down. And what did they learn about the nation of Israel? Read.
Verse 17. And while it say sin not before their God.
And one of the things he said was, if these people are not sinning before their God, read.
They prospered.
He said, if they're not sinning before they got their God, they prosper. So if they're doing what they're supposed to do, they win. But read.
Because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
Because the God that hates iniquity is with them. Read.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them.
But when we leave from the ways of God, which he appointed us, read.
They were destroyed.
They were destroyed. No wonder why in the black community we destroy. Are we following the Bible? No. We been reading that book for 30. You ain't been following it. So that's why you're destroyed. My grandma had that book and they ain't did nothing for me. Have you read it? You know the biggest critics of the Bible ain't never read it. Ain't that crazy? The main critics of the Bible ain't never read it. Charleston White ain't read one verse in the Bible before. He ain't read a whole chapter. Don't know nothing about the Bible. You ever talk to one of those people that say, yeah, because the white man wrote that book. And then you ask them a simple question. Just ask them. If somebody ever tell you that again, yeah, that's the white man's book. Ask them a simple question. Say, what white man? The white man wrote it. Which one? You got a name? I guarantee they don't know. I guarantee they not. I remember one time we went out street teaching and it was a woman, an Afrocentric woman. She's talking about the white man wrote the Bible. I said, what white man? Give me his name. Give me the date and his name of when he wrote it. She couldn't do it. Because that's garbage. Ain't never read the Bible. The Bibles are enslavement. The book enslaved us. Ask them how. Because it says servants obey your masters. It does say that. But the problem is you don't know that you're the master. But you didn't read it. So yeah, it enslaved you. Because if you would have read it, you would have found out, oh, I'm the master. Oh, okay. So they're supposed to serve me, but you was too stupid not to read it, so you think that you the slave. See, that's the problem. People don't read this book. They don't take the time to understand this book. Watch this. Read.
Verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Read.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
Read.
But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered.
See, why do you think it's such a heavy concentration to make sure that black people are sinning? Did y'all notice that? It seems like everything that's wicked is always a target of black men and black women. Latino men and Latino women. Like, why is it that the most, and I gotta be honest when I say this, the most promiscuous woman in America, the face of it is the black woman. All you got to do is Google Cardi B. And she naked all on Google. Or Nicki Minaj. Just type in type in Halle Berry. Type in Beyonce. They all, and then type in their names and hit images. You know what you're going to see? Naked. Nakedness. Type in Lindsay Lohan. You gonna see nakedness? You might. She went through a phase of the nakedness. Oh, she was trying to look. Why is it when they naked, they gotta look like black women too? They gotta put the little contour, the little makeup on, make their features look like black women and all of that. Don't they do that? White women want BBLs too. Why white women want BBLs? Oh yeah, type in Taylor Swift. Is she gonna be naked? Taylor Swift ain't gonna be naked? Huh? Okay, well, let's do it like this. You're gonna find some naked white women on there. We ain't gonna say all of it, but on a scale of a degree of how many naked white women and naked black women you gonna find in the entertainment business. Almost every black woman that's an entertainer, almost every, it's gonna be provocative. And let's not get started on the men that are in entertainment. Every one of them gonna be thugs, some type of gangster. I mean, think about it. In basketball, we got a whole new thing to throw the 3-point up. What they do? They throw this up. This came from gang violence. Now white boys be throwing this up. White boys be shooting like they don't even know what this is. They running around doing this and all that. They don't even know that that's gang stuff. Understand? We lead when it comes to ignorance, right? But he says when we are not with our God, we can defeat him. But when we're with our God, leave him alone. Read.
Verse 19. But now are they returned to their God and are come up from the places where they were scattered. Read. And have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God.
That's the key. You have to make sure that there is sin in these people. If you don't make sure that there is, that's why the white man got smart. He said, okay, how can I make sure? Oh, TV. Make the role models, not the fathers. Make the role models the Negroes in the streets. Oh, make the role models gangbangers. Make the role models thugs. Make the role models prostitutes. Make the role models OnlyFans. Make the role models and take the father out the house. Take the father out the house and then tell the woman she's the man now. So now their households are backwards. One of the biggest travesties in black and brown communities, and we're going to read some stuff about it, is the welfare system and feminism. And the welfare system and feminism go hand in hand. Destroyed our people. And I'm going to read some facts about it, right? So watch this, read.
Verse 20, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
It says, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. But read.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
But if we go up, right, and they sin, we will overcome them, right? So what's the key? And yes, this is in the Apocrypha. What's the key to destroying black and Hispanic people in America? Make them sin. That's the only way we beat them. We don't beat them any other way unless they sin. If there is sin in this people, then we win. But if there is no sin in this people, we lose. And it's a domino effect. Because right now, if we keep these words, what happens to our communities? I'm going to show you. They turn around. All right, go from there. Get Deuteronomy 28 and 30. All right. So destroying the black family, right? And we're going to, let me share my screen. We're going to read some stuff about destroying the black family. Because when you destroy the black family, you destroy the community. So, all right. So we're going to read a little bit. When we got to America, they had a concentrated effort on destroying our households and our families, right? All right. So this is an article on history.com. And this article is about slavery and what they did specifically to target our families in slavery. All right. So we're going to read a little bit about this. And then once we read a little bit about this, we're going to read how we can circumvent this problem that we have today, all the way in 2022. These problems, this is the ignorance behind our people. That was so long ago. I don't have to read about it. But why, when these problems that we're facing today stem from the history? It stems from this, right? We're going to read a little bit about it. All right. It says, for enslaved African Americans, the ideal of marriage as an enduring lifelong bond was rarely an option, right? When couples stood before clergy or other officiants, all right, they couldn't share the traditional age-old promise of permanent fidelity because their vows had a built-in asterisk. Do you take this woman or this man to be your spouse until death or distance do you part? Why did they say death or distance? Because at any time, I could sell your wife. At any time, I could sell your husband. At any time. I'm going to show you the psychological aspect of why women in today's time, they think they don't need a man. It's not their fault, of course, because we disobeyed our God. But in a sense, for the sake of the point that I'm trying to make, it's not their fault, because for so long, could they rely on strong men? No. Why? Because you got to break the strongest nigga and you got to make him appear weak. This is why history is so important, because if you don't know where we came from, you don't know where we're going. Why are black men weak? And when I say weak, I'm not talking about even the physical aspect, because were slaves physically strong? Yes, but they're mentally weak. This is done strategically. Watch this. Understanding those altered words, couples married with trepidation, fully aware of the turmoil that might result from trying to maintain and nurture their ties while enslaved. Still, they continually took leaps of faith, driven by burning passions, to form families of their choosing and create fundamental human bonds that could help soften the harsh conditions of human bondage. Because can you ever cut off the attraction between a man and a woman? No. So they still was falling in love. They still were loving each other and liking each other and wanting to be together, even in bondage, because that's just a human emotion. Watch this. These leaps were necessary because for nearly 250 years, the vast majority of African Americans were considered chattel property within the system. White slaveholders made all the decisions. They determined whether and when enslaved people could wed. They split them apart when finances dedicated. They sometimes chose who would marry who, or bizarrely violated enslaved couples' marriages by forcing the woman to serve as their own concubines. That sound familiar today? The only difference from right now to then was back then they had to force you to do it. Now we willingly do it. Now women willingly cheat on their husbands. Now men willingly leave their wives to live in single parent households, right? We're going to go from slavery. We're going to see the art of war. This was strategic. Why do you think the white man made sure that he understood the family values and made sure that he had his hand in every aspect of family values in the slaves? Because he knew if I control the family structure, I'm going to control this people. All right. And then we're going to see how we can fix this. And those in political power set laws that made it exceedingly difficult for free black people to reside for long near their still enslaved families without being stuck back into the harrowing state of bondage themselves. Can you imagine being free but your wife is a slave? Or can you imagine vice versa? Can you imagine that? So much so to where you would sell yourself back into slavery to be with your family. What man could do that? I mean, when we about to read, I'm just thinking to myself, you got to be an evil man to do the things that we about to read what they did. Since marriage was both a civil right and a religious right, afforded only to those with legal standing, enslaved people who had no recognizable standing in society could not make contracts of any kind. Their marriages were neither legally binding nor sanctified by the Christian church. But wait, I thought Christians were, right? The The Christian church didn't even help you. Didn't want to help you. Because you weren't a human. You guys just started being humans in Christianity. You understand? Watch this. Which routinely allow one of its holiest rights to be transitioned by power, money, and whim. Property owners were its leading constituents, and their rights prevail over human rights. So enslaved people were forced to settle for conditional unions that could be torn asunder at any time. Imagine a man coming to you, Barack, or whoever's married in here and saying, you know, Tazawar and the brothers that got wives. Imagine they'd be like, hey, look, man, I just sold your wife to this plantation. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you don't shut up, I'll sell your daughter too. Can you imagine that? You see that? Watch this. The Chronicle of African American Marriage under Slavery is one of twists and turns of intimate bonds being formed, sustained, broken, and repeatedly recreated under the strains of an oppressive system. Because this is still the same system. I'm going to show you guys. Oh, that was a long time ago. I'm going to show you how this is still alive today. This same system is still breathing and alive today. It's called the art of war for a reason. First, they had to condition you. And now once they condition you, they don't have to condition you anymore. You naturally act in this behavior. Below are 3 stories of how enslaved people were affected by and coped with the challenges of following their heart. All right, so we're going to read one of these stories. I'm not going to read all 3. One of these stories, all right? Does anybody know who Henry Brown is? If you don't know who Henry Brown is, look him up. Popularity known as Henry Box Brown, who escaped slavery by having himself shipped in dry good crates from Richmond to Philadelphia. All right, so we're going to read about Henry Box Brown. Henry Box Brown is not a household name, but he is remembered to history as the enslaved man who mailed himself to freedom. In 1849, he fled Richmond, Virginia, via a custom-made dry goods box that was only big enough to hold his 6-foot, 200-pound frame curled up into a fetal position. He arrived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, met by abolitionists awaiting his delivery 27 harrowing hours later. So he stayed in that position for 27 hours. All right. It says, but less widely known is why he fled. His family bonds had been ripped to shreds. Okay, so we're going to read about his family. It's a true story. Even though Brown's mother had warned him of the inevitability of family separation when he was a young boy. So can you imagine that, growing up in a situation and your mom telling you, son, don't think about getting married. Don't think about having kids. Telling your daughter, don't think about getting married. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine living in a situation like that? I'm going to show y'all how that same mentality is alive today. Do black women aspire to get married anymore? Hell no. What they want to do? Go to school. The white man tricked them to believe that they're liberated from marriage. I got to trace my dreams first. And do you know how that's backwards? Back then, we was fighting for marriage. Now we fight against marriage. Y'all see what happened? Y'all see the bounds of slavery still alive in our people today? That's the art of war, destroyed it. So now, if there's no black people getting married, what happens? There's no black people having what? Families. They having kids. 4, 5 baby daddies. They having kids. It's no structure and no family unit now. So now when women are liberated and they get knocked up, oh, but the white man says, oh, I got a solution for you, abortion. What is it, the day after pill? See that? The mentality is alive today. The mentality is alive today because what are they telling the men to do? They telling men now, good luck trying to find a woman out there, brothers. I'm happy I'm in the truth. My wife in the truth. Good luck finding a woman out there. It is tough. And good luck for the sisters finding a man out there. You don't know what the hell, because the minds of the people was destroyed. See that? But it took root here. So it says, even though Brown's mother had warned him of the inevitability of family separation when he was a young boy, nothing could prepare him for the trauma of the actual experience. First, his siblings were split among the heirs of their deceased enslaver. So his brothers and sisters were spread up. Then he was forced to leave his parents behind to work in a tobacco factory. Can you imagine 12 years old and they take you from your parents? This is the history they tell you to forget about, and it wasn't even that long ago. But let's keep reading. He must have thought about these incidents when he began to ponder starting a family of his own. But he put rationality aside when he met Nancy, fell in love, and they decided to marry. Their nuptial harmony ended abruptly within a year's time. However, as Brown later recounted in his memoir, The Narrative of the Life of Henry Box Brown, his enslavers conscientious, excuse me, thank you, scruples vanished. Y'all gotta forgive me, thank you. And he sold Nancy to an exceedingly cruel man and to a still more cruel woman. So basically, the man was cruel and his wife was cruel to her too. So they sold his wife. Watch this though. They were sold several more times before ending up in the hands of a prospective buyer who offered Brown a deal. If he would pay a portion of Nancy's sale price, the man would keep her nearby and sell her back to Brown once he had saved enough money. This was a dicey but tantalizing offer he couldn't refuse if he had any hope of having a domestic life with his wife and by then 3 children. The new purchaser took advantage of his vulnerability by escalating demands for more money like a hostage taker, and then sold his family anyway. So you get married, your wife bounce around getting sold, your kids bounce around getting sold. One slaver says, hey, look, if you pay me and work for me a little bit, I'll sell her back to you eventually. And then he lies to you, then sell her away anyway. It gets more deep. The departure of Brown's family marked the most excruciating days of his life. His wife and young children were caged overnight in a local jail before being auctioned off and marched out of town in ropes and chains. Can you imagine your wife and kids in chains being marched off and there's nothing you could do about it? See, this is what they had to do. They had to break the family unit up. They had to mess the family unit up. Because you know what people always want to say? Well, in the Bible, there was slave. You're right. But guess what? We couldn't do nothing with have intercourse with their wives and all that crazy stuff and do the things, the cruelty that this man was doing. There's always been slavery practice. The difference with slavery that was in like you got the Arabic slave trade that was still horrible, but one of the difference was they still acknowledged marriage, meaning the wife was the wife, but his. But in this time, your wife, I could do whatever I want with her. You understand? Watch this. So it says he could do nothing but stand by, watch, and listen to their agonizing cries. He chronological. Y'all gotta forgive me. These last moments of his narrative. I looked for the approach of another gang in which my wife was also loaded with chains. My eyes soon caught her precious face, but gracious heavens, that glance of agony, may God spare me from ever again enduring. I seized hold of her hand while my mind felt unutterable things. Excuse me. I went with her for about 4 miles hand in hand, but both our hearts were so overpowered with feeling that we could say nothing. So basically, he walked with her for 4 miles while she was chained up in agony, just walking with her. Can you imagine your wife chained up and you just holding her hand, just walking with her? You can't do nothing. You can't break her free. You can't do nothing. No wonder why the mentality of our sisters today is niggas can't do nothing for me, because could we do anything to help them back then? And that mentality carried over. It reversed itself for a little short period of time. We're going to read that after this, but that mentality carried over. It says, I went with her for about 4 miles hand in hand, but both our hearts were so overpowered with feeling that we could say nothing. And when at last we were obliged to part, the look of mutual love which was exchanged was all the token which we could give each other that we should yet meet again in heaven. He never seen her again after that. See that? We don't know what happened to her. She could be getting raped, the whole nine. You can't do nothing. We was going to read that in a little bit. It says, after the devastating loss of his family, Brown entertained suicide. Instead, the experience inspired his remarkable escape. Desperate to flee bondage and tell the world about the suffering of his fellow slaves, he risked bodily injury and death by mailing himself to freedom in the North. See that? And guess what? If he wanted your wife, you can do nothing about it. He can lay with your wife at any moment in time. Take your wife, sell her, do whatever it is. And that is the beginning. So imagine 240 years of that within the family structure. What do you think is going to happen to the people when they get out of slavery? Are they going to know how to survive? I'm gonna tell y'all an interesting fact that I talked to a hood dude. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say his name, and he kind of gave me the history of a little bit of the history of pimping, as far as the black community goes. You know, during the time where the slaves were freed, right? You know what happened? A lot of the times when the slaves was freed, the plantation owner would kick them off the plantation and say, "Hey, look, y'all out of here, y'all free, but y'all got to leave with just the clothes on your back." That means you don't have no food, you don't have no water, you don't have nothing. So yeah, we free, but now what do? All I know is the slave. All I know is the big house. So where do I go? You know what some of the white men used to do? Sharecropping came, but another thing, prostitution came with the wives. White slave master was used to having sex with your wife routinely. He'll tell you, "Hey, look, I'll give you some money. Just let me have sex with her when I want." What you gonna do? You in the South, it get cold. You don't know where to go. Just let me do what I used to do with your wife, you know, and I'll give you a little change, and I'll let you live on a little part of the little land, and you just work for me, and I'll pay you a little change. Sex and prostitution was also involved. That's what they don't tell you about. They don't tell you that prostitution was also in that deal of sharecropping. So now when you look at the prostitution of our women from slavery on down, what is our women doing today? Prostituting themselves. That's what our women are doing today. You might have some sensitive Israelites, not all of our women, but majority of our women are prostituting themselves. And then they teach the young. Y'all seen Django? Y'all seen that scene when he went in there and they was doing a Mandingo fighting? That scene is so powerful. I'm gonna tell you why that scene is powerful, because it shows you two things that the Most High said that he loves. So the opposite of those things is hate. You seen two of your brothers fighting to the death. One of the things the Lord said he loves was what? Brothers that dwell in what? Unity. In that scene, you had two of your brothers fighting to the death, and then you also had a woman that was a prostitute. See that? So now that same mentality, look at our brothers and look at our people today. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 30. But see, if you would have read the Bible, you would know that this happened because of what? The curses that are upon our people, and the way to reverse this is with the Bible. Read that, Deuteronomy 28, 30.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 30.
Read.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
It says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Is that it?
Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
You see that? So what are the Israelites telling you guys out there? We're telling you that, look, the blueprint is the Bible. The Bible said this was going to happen if we sin. Didn't we just read that in the book of Judith? It says, if God be with them, then leave these people alone. But if God is not with them, then you can enslave those people. And the white man was the biggest devil ever because he figured out something. He said, look, I got to study the brain. Sigmund Freud, all of these philosophers that study the human mind, they study your brain. They literally study your brain. Literally, if you donate your body to science, they cut you open, take your brain and study it. They literally studied you. And they said, you know what? If I can get there, see, harsh bondage only lasts so long because the natural fight or flight mechanism is a natural thing in all human beings. Eventually, we're going to start fighting. And you've seen that with all of the slave revolts and all of the slave rebellions and things of that nature. We don't get it twisted. We was trying to fight now in the Caribbean, and look at all that history. You might have to go through that history one day. We was fighting, but what did the white man do? He said, if I get their brain, then they will never fight against me. They think they're free. Women think they're liberated walking around naked. Free to nipple. Yes. Good. So I can enjoy all the spoils of their prostitution, just like I used to enjoy it in slavery, and they don't even know. The man will hate each other and hate his wife. Separate them, destroy the family, and they'll do it naturally. You see that? Read that one more time.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with them. Let's get some more history. So now, that was when our people were in slavery, right? So now we're going to get some more history, all right? How black families torn apart during slavery worked to find one another again. So this is another little bit of history that I want to read. So let's read this right here. Throughout slavery, black family units were in constant danger of disruption, as we just read that with Box Brown, right? And those in bondage had no control over the structure of their families, let alone their lives. But the Reconstruction era, right, which followed the Civil War and the end of enslavement, was a pivotal turning point in history for African Americans and their families. In the latest episode of the MSNBC podcast, Into America, journalist, I'm gonna just say it's, I think it's Tryman Lee, visits the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. to get an exclusive look at the exposition Make Good the Promises, Reconstruction and its Legacies. During the interview, he speaks with Spencer Crew, right, the creator of the exhibit, right? So he's going to speak to this guy, the creator of the exhibit, all right? And I want to get to the point of what he's going to see in this, all right? Okay. During Reconstruction from 1865 to 1877, 4 million previously enslaved black people worked to establish themselves in their new independence. 3 new constitutional amendments, Crew said, changed the nature of citizenship in this country. The end of slavery also gave the opportunity for African Americans to reconnect with family members displaced over generations. Families would travel to nearby plantations and farms while also placing advertisements in newspapers in hopes of being reunited with their long lost loved ones. All right. So in the Reconstruction area, you had a boom. I'm gonna tell y'all this. After slavery, we had a boom in black families because we were trying to rebuild and reconstruct. So at this particular time, you had things looking up because now it's like, okay, now I can go back and travel and get my wife, or now I can go back and travel and go with my family, right? So you had an emergence at this time of the black family structure. See, because over a period of time, when you put somebody in bondage, naturally in the human mind and the human psyche, which the white man hasn't been able to figure out, I'm gonna let y'all know what I've kind of been studying that I'm not ready to bring out yet, but I am going to do a lesson on it. The white man has studied the mind, and what you'll find out is eventually the mind will begin to correct itself naturally. You understand what I'm saying? So naturally. So you'll have a destroyed mind for every so often of generations, and then naturally the mind will correct themselves. I'm going to show you an example of that. So during slavery, right, we were enslaved and our minds were destroyed. And then you had us get out of slavery. Now we're trying to reconstruct our families again. And then you had what? After that, you had the 60s. And in the 60s and in the 70s, you had the emergence of the welfare plan. And that was a situation to further destroy our families. So we always decided that we wanted to correct ourselves. All right. We always wanted to correct ourselves. Before we wanted to read, right? Then they took they was trying to take the opportunity of reading from us. But then when they allowed us to read, but then they said, okay, let's shift their focus from wanting to read to wanting to be a pimp. Now Superfly comes out, certain movies come out. Blaxploitation, I believe it's called. Black exploitation. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Exploitation. There we go. So what they do is they exploit our culture, say you're a pimp, you're a thug, you're a gangbanger, you're this, and now we got generations that think that. So now we went from slavery, couldn't read, to now we can read, to now we want to be Black Panthers, we want to be revolutionaries, to now we want to be pimps, to now we want to be prostitutes, to now, if you look at the cycle, it's repeating itself again, because now what are people doing more and more and more? Reading and starting to change. And at the forefront of this is the Israelites. See that? So our brains always start to correct themselves. So at this particular time, you see this beautiful family of this beautiful Black family right here. You see the man. Don't you see the man right there? See the wife? You see the kids? And you see how many kids they got. Right? This was common to have as many kids as they would have. All right. So now let's finish reading this. All right. What was interesting is that after the Civil War, there's a lot of movement of African Americans around the country. Crew said, well, in fact, what they're doing is trying to reconnect family members, trying to find people that were lost. Churches also became conduits for people to find their families through the word of mouth. In addition to helping reunite lost loved ones, Black churches established schools to promote education and later became arms of the civil rights movement. Furthermore, as a foundation of faith and stability in the community, the churches gave Black people hope in the midst of difficult circumstances. So back then, the church was a little different. The church was trying to lead in the struggle to civil rights and so on and so forth, and helping Black people in Black churches. Notice how it wasn't white churches. It was Black people in their Black churches was coming together, and they was trying to help find each other's family. Watch this. Faith is what brings the community together with faces, Crew said. Faith gives you the kind of attitude and worldview in which you can forgive others for the kind of terrible things that they do and to move forward. Although the process of reuniting families proved difficult and sometimes impossible, the Black family unit strengthened as a very strong institution that was stabilized within the next generation. So at this particular time, our families were strong. We might have not been able to vote. We might have not been able to drink from the same water fountain. We might have not been able to go to the same hospitals, but that made us stronger. You know why? Because it made us have to do what? Pull together. So our family structure was strong at this point. They could not allow this to keep going on. I'm going to show you what they did. All right. It says, although the process, I'm going to read, I think I read that. Although the process of reuniting families proved difficult and sometimes impossible, the Black family unit strengthened as a very strong institution that was stabilized within the next generation, said Eric Foner, DeWitt Clinton, professor emeritus of history at Columbia University. All right. He said many people tried to reconnect with family members through the Freedmen's Bureau, an agency established by the federal government as a resource for formerly enslaved people. You see how we fought to connect with our families? We fought to have families. We fought for the family structure. You see how this? You see the mind? Do we fight for family structures now? Now what we say? F a B. And the women say, F a nigga. You see the mind? It's gone. But it's a process of what they did. When you understand that this is a systematic war we're fighting, you'll understand that AK-47s at this particular moment ain't gonna win it. We got to get our minds back, right? And we got to get our families back. So y'all see how the family structure was starting to come along? Now, what ended up happening? All right. And give me Deuteronomy 28 and 32. And then we're going to read Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Welfare and feminism destroyed the American family. All right. Let's read this. Welfare and feminism destroyed the American family. All right. Stephen Baskerville, I believe, and writer I have followed for many years, explains in the June 2021 issue of Chronicles that it is the U.S. welfare system constructed by the Great Society programs, not racism, that explains the plight of many Black Americans. All right. I want to get to the point. All right. Let's read this. Okay. As Mayonan predicted, the war on poverty decimated the African American family and created a self-perpetuating underclass of single mothers and fatherless children, writes Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, the chairman of the Institute for Political Economy, former associate editor of the Wall Street Journal, and a well-known author of many books. He is also a regular contributor to the Herald Report. All right, so we're gonna read it. I'm gonna skip and read this real quick for the sake of time. A community that allows a large number of young men to grow up in broken families, dominated by women, never acquiring any stable relationships to male authority. The community acts for and gets chaos. So basically, if you guys don't know what happened when the welfare system came in, they will offer these programs to Black families at this time. And it's a whole bunch of documentaries you can read on this to check and fact check me. But what they would do is they would say, hey, look, the first thing they had to do, and matter of fact, we actually have a video of a sister that was an old Black Panther Party sister. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but she actually talks about this. Basically, what they did was they took the jobs that Negroes were working, all the jobs that Negroes were working, they outsourced those jobs. So now, when you outsource the jobs that Negroes are working, ironically, right? The Negro jobs they outsource. Black men lose their jobs. How can they provide for their families? At that particular time, the Black woman, right, was stay-at-home mom. So what money was she bringing in? She wasn't bringing no money in. So now, what did America just aid in? Not quite yet, but made us poor. When a family is poor, right? What typically happens in that household? Arguments, disputes, frustrations. Now we turn against each other. Well, John, you need to go do something because we hungry. And the kids, well, I'm trying. And then now they fighting against each other. Frustration builds in. It's all fact. That's why when y'all say y'all got to get over it, how can we get over the systematic version of slavery? Look what they did. Did they apologize for this? They know they did this. They know they broke down the families. And then you know what they did? Dun, 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 good old America. I have a solution: welfare. But you can't have that nigga in the house. I'll help you if that nigga ain't in the house. If that nigga gone, I'll help you. What you need? Food stamps, EBT, what? A house? The government will take care of you. Guess who became their daddy? I'm saying that for shock value. The government. So who was their daddy on the plantations? The white man. And then who became their daddy with the welfare system? The white man. So then, okay, can't have a man in the house. So now what happens? Well, I need to survive and you can't find a job. So I think it's best that you leave and I get on this welfare. You see why you need to read Charleston White? See why you need to read, all y'all that follow Charleston White? You see why just going outside and shooting up a liquor store with white people ain't gonna do it because your brain is destroyed. You got to get your mind back first before you can think you're gonna fight anything. Read that in Deuteronomy 28:32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Watch this. Welfare. So we're gonna get to the kids too. Welfare and feminism destroyed the American family. All right. Baskerville says the real problem was not waste and welfare queens living extravagantly at public expense, as conservatives complain, but money spent on turning black children into criminals, addicts, dropouts, rioters, thus creating more problems, requiring more government institution. That's profound. I'm gonna show you why that's profound. Because who is supposed to be the authority figure in the house? The father, right? Who is normally the disciplinarian in the house? The father. So if you remove the father out the house, what happens to the son when he's 15 years old looking at you in your face now, mama? And he not scared of you. And he tells you, I'm going to come in the house when I want to. Yeah, you know, black women, they pride themselves. I wish he would. But you ain't going to be doing nothing but fighting with that boy. Until you kick him out. And then, where does he go? Gangs, the streets, creating more what? Government intrusions, more government situations. Oh, because now we need foster care. Because the mother can't control them kids over there, so they got to get put in foster care. Oh. Now we need juvenile hall. Detention centers. But before that, did they have that? Before that, who did they have? The father. You see that? And now it breeds more and more and more destruction. Watch this. It says the appearance of, and I'm gonna tell y'all this. At the same time the welfare system came into play, this is at the same time feminism was being birthed. All right. When was feminism? What, like late 50s, early 60s? That's when you start seeing those signs. Anything you could do, I could do better. You got the woman doing this. And you know what's so funny? At first, it was a white woman struggle. The black woman, they had no problems with y'all. Y'all didn't have no problems with y'all husband. The black woman let the white woman trick them. Yeah. It was a show that explored that. But basically, I forgot the name of the television show. But basically what happened was, you know, the white women at that particular time, they was having problems in their marriage because they wanted to, you know, they wanted to be on an equal plateau with their white husbands. You understand what I'm saying? And at that particular time, the black family didn't have no problem. Remember the Reconstruction era and all of that? We didn't have no problems. Shoot, we was just happy to be able to get married and live together. So we didn't have no problems. But the white woman made you join her struggle. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. Majority, not all, white women put down that struggle because you can see more women in terms of the white community, they in traditional roles than men. All you got to do is go to the suburbs. Go to the suburbs. Go to Yoruba Valley. Go to who's at home? When I used to do commercial attic work in the attics, right? When I used to do attic in the attic work, I used to always go to these white neighborhoods, and guess who I seen in the house? The white woman. And her little baby got blocks and in the corner little play area, and guess where her husband at? At work. I can't even count on my hand how many times we went to a black house and it was like that. It was not like that because the white woman by and large, she abandoned that struggle. Now you might have some of these millennial women and all of that, but the older white women, the white women that's in like their 40s and the white women in like their late 30s, and they got husbands. And guess what? If these white women do go to college and have the quote unquote whole phase, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna make sure they got a man though. I don't get they man. Matter of fact, I did it. It was a study that was done that when white women go to college, statistically, not all, because you might have some ignorant black. Well, you saying, oh, not all. Black people like to pinpoint on little stuff. Not all. Not all. Okay, let me just say that. Because I had made a comment that black people are nasty, and I'm not all. Okay, but a strong majority of white women get married after college. I'm talking about marriage. While black women, like some of y'all family members in here, like my family member, my sister and all that, she liberated because she going to medical school, but then when she's 40, she's gonna be sad and depressed and alone. Y'all know fixed marriages? Y'all know that still happens today, right? Yeah, the white man do that? Yeah. Matter of fact, in the white communities, Todd, you want to be a soccer player? No, Todd, you want to take over this company. And if you don't, I'm going to excommunicate you from the family. That's how white people get down. I'm talking about the higher up white people. That's how they get down. See, the welfare system destroyed black families. Read that again in Deuteronomy 28:32. They took our children away. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32.
Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
That the appearance of radical feminism exacerbated welfare's destruction of the black family by glorifying female independence and single mother homes. Does that make sense? But it ain't no good man out here. Well, you're right. Because they took the man out the house, told you you could do bad all by yourself. And then you had a son and raised him to be the same man that you said you hate. So then when he get older, he gonna do the same thing to her, and then she gonna do the same thing to that little boy. You see what's going on here? That's the cycle. That's the cycle. Taking our children away from us, taking the right family structure. Having driven away black fathers with financial burdens, financial bribes to women, the welfare system then shifted costs to fathers. Deadbeat dads were criminalized and imprisoned under child support laws. Just put him on child. So now it's separation in the house because the man that lost the job. The government says, we'll feed you. They feed her for a time. The man leave, and then he say, you know what? Why he leave you with these kids? I don't think y'all heard me. The government caused the black man to lose his job, caused anarchy in the house, then told the black woman, I'll give you this welfare. You just got to leave the black man. And then when you were struggling to take care of the kids, the white man came back and said, why he leave you like that? Oh, you want me to get him? I'll get him for you. Child support. Next, feminists use no fault. Watch this. Next, feminists use no fault divorce laws to extend the destruction of the family into the white component of society. No fault divorce destroyed marriage as a legally enforceable contract and replaced it with the ability of one spouse to utterly end a marriage without any grounds. Remember when you couldn't get divorced for just any reason? Did y'all know that existed in America? Go to the government, you want a divorce. Why? That's a legal contract. You can't just walk out that. You got a reason. But now No fault divorce laws. Your feet stink. Divorce. You made me mad. Divorce. You work too much. Divorce. You work too little. Divorce. You don't listen to my emotions. Divorce. We grew apart. Divorce. He just doesn't understand me anymore. Divorce. You can divorce for whatever you want. What's the point of getting married in today's society? Bingo. Get married to get divorced. What? Like, now I'm in the truth, so I understand the benefits of marriage. But if I was out there, I ain't gonna lie. Why get married? Like, for real. Like, why? Like, what? It's gonna end in a divorce. 75% of marriages in the black community end in divorce. How many people in here versus the people you know that are divorced that are together? Is it more or less? Is it more people divorced or more people together? You know, because black people, well, I know a family. Yeah, a family. I'll take you to an apartment complex. 1,000 families in this same apartment complex. 500 families and not a man in there. Not a woman in there. See that? And then what does that do to the kids? It taints the kids. Get Jeremiah 31 and 22. Read that when you got it.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
The Lord has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. What according to the Bible, what is the family structure supposed to look like? What is the order? Give me a Bible verse. Bingo. Get that live. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 3.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So first and foremost, who's the head? Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. Now, don't let feminism take you out. I'm gonna tell you how feminism and the destruction of feminism and the destruction of the mind of the black man and the black woman, I'm going to tell you guys how this plays out. Because now, brothers, naturally as a man, I'm talking, this is biology now. All right. Naturally as a man, a woman that you love, you naturally want to do what, brothers? Huh? And protect, right? That's just natural. That's just the natural law of reality. If sisters didn't know that. Men naturally, when we love you, we just want to protect you. That's it. So for an example, if you wearing them booty shorts and your man tell you, hey, you're not wearing those again. He's not insecure. No. He's trying to protect you from these savages out here. Because he know how men think. And when you wear your booty shorts you love, you become a what? A target. And when you're a target, what does that make you? In danger. So when your man is out there with you and you got them booty shorts on and he feeling uncomfortable, it's because he sensed the danger around. But you know what the feminist movement said? You're insecure. In so much that men begin to believe that bull. You're too controlling. In so much that men begin to believe that. But when you have a man, and it says the man is the head of the household, see what feminists think, which destroyed the families, what feminists think when the scriptures say man is the head of the household, y'all automatically, not y'all like specifically, but just in general, women automatically think that means that you're supposed to bow down and kiss our feet. No, that's not what that means. It does mean that we make the final decisions in the household. It does mean that we are the head. We lead where to go. But it also means when a burglar comes in the house, who's the first to go downstairs? But you know, women are so funny. The women out there, they don't want a man to protect them from wearing provocative stuff, but they want a man to go down there when a burglar come in. But wait, don't tell me what to do, nigga. I'm my own mind. But at the same time, you better still fight when I need you to fight for me. What kind of deal is that? Yeah. So we got in a situation because you love them booty shorts. And we was about to walk by these group of gangbanger dudes and they catcalled you. And then you looked at me and said, so you ain't gonna say nothing? I told you not to wear the shorts. So now I gotta go say something and possibly get the hell beat out of me or shot because you want to wear your booty shorts. When men, right? No disrespect to the sisters, are more, I'm not saying sisters can't be logical thinkers, but men are more logical thinkers than women typically are. Meaning men think, okay, X, Y, Z, 2 plus 2 is 4. Women think X squared, Y, Z, 5, jump pi, right? Men don't think like that. Men think if she wear those booty shorts, men come try to get her. Women think I wear these booty shorts because I'm liberated and I should be able to wear whatever I want to wear and you can't tell me what to do and nigga, you ain't nothing but a punk and insecure little boy. Leave me alone. Yeah. So now the rational, logical man is like, well, damn, I don't want to seem like a punk and a little boy because I'm not. So let me just let her wear the shorts. And then now when we walking and then she get catcalled, now she looking at me and now I'm still a punk and because logically I don't want to get killed. But you see how if you let the head lead, he can help you. And just like if women are in it, they can help men. There's a lot of things that women and men can help each other with. Women are natural nurturers. They nurture. And sometimes they can give that good wisdom and nurturing that a man might need. When a man want to go to war, I'm about to take this nigga out. A woman can say, nah, I don't think that's the best plan of action. Let's just go. Let's just leave. Sometimes women can be a voice of reason. If we work together, how much power will we have? That's what the Bible says. The Bible says, what did we read earlier? The Bible says there's no greater thing that the Lord loves than a man and a woman that agree together. See that? And I'm not talking about we agree to let you wear the booty shorts. I'm talking about we agree to get under these guidelines of these laws. But you see, the white man said, nah. The Me Too movement. It says, I'm gonna read this. Democrats have succeeded in shifting the blame for the consequences of their work to white racism, and feminists have succeeded in dehumanizing men. Curiously, feminists blame men for taking advantage of sexual promiscuity of women that feminists advocate. Y'all are just sexual perverts. All you wear is booty shorts and tank tops. What do you think the man's going to do? Not you guys, because you guys are modest and beautiful. But the women that's out there, what do you think a man's going to do when all you are is liberation from nakedness? What is a man going to look at you and think? One thing on his mind, because you out here advertising. But then you blame us. That's like blaming a tiger for eating the steak. How you gonna blame the tiger for eating the steak when he a tiger? When you put a steak in front of a tiger, what he gonna do? He gonna go get it. What'd you say? Right. How you gonna be mad at the tiger? He doing his natural thing. If you have a generation of men that was raised by their mothers, men that were not raised by their fathers, men that were not raised in how to be men, what kind of sense does it make to be naked around these men? I never could understand that. How was it ever a good idea for parents to let their kids go to house parties with barely no clothes on in a house full of men in the dark? Does that make sense? You go to a club full of men in the dark with liquor and weed and drugs, and you have no clothes on. That is like that is like a bomb waiting to explode. And then you say things like, well, he shouldn't touch me. Well, you're right, he shouldn't, but does that mean he won't? Every action has a reaction. If you touch the stove, you get. If you break the law, you go to. I can break the law if I want. If I want, I can go do whatever I want. I can go commit a. But isn't there every action has a reaction? So if you go to a strip club and you work at a strip club and you're mad because a man touched you, well, what do you think? What's going to happen to you? See, this is the world we live in, and this is the mind. So it all happens strategically, and this is how the man has got us and our people destroyed, right? So it says, let me see. I think that's all I want. I think that's all I want. So go from there real quick. Go to Deuteronomy. No, Genesis 2:18. Let's get that by the end of the minute.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
Because man and women need each other. Man needs the woman, and the woman needs the man. We need each other. We both need each other. We gotta stop doing what the white man wants us to do and have this whole battle with a sexist thing. I hate it. I hate it. You know, all these little documents of, yeah, the woman mind matures faster than the male mind, and the woman actually matures faster than the male, and the woman is actually this, and the woman is actually that, and the man. Why are we doing that? We all human beings. Your thought pattern don't have nothing to do with, you ain't better and I ain't better than we the same, and we're equal in the sense that we're supposed to come together and build. Yeah, yes, I am the leader. Like, for example, I'm considered the leader in this building, right? Does that mean I'm better than you? Am I better than anybody in here? No. Am I better than Lob? Do I have to follow the same laws Lob got to follow? But in any organization, don't you need a leader? I was laughing at this the other day. Iran, when we was talking to that one sister, he said, is there a leader in schools? Is there a leader in church? Is there a leader in jobs? Yes, but does that make me better? No, it doesn't make me better. It just means that I'm put in a position to follow and go in certain ways and levels of grounds of direction. Men have their ability to lead mentally. I'm talking about men that have their fathers, because we're trying to break that generational curse right now. What we're trying to do in here is break generational curses. We're trying to teach the men. I'm in my son's life. You saying Lob's going to be in his son's life. Ives in his son's life. We're in our son's lives now. So now, brothers, now that we're in our son's lives, what are we going to teach our sons? We're going to teach our sons how to protect and provide for their women. Now we're in our daughters' lives. So now what are we going to teach our daughters? We're going to teach our daughters how to be submissive. That word is like a bad word to the feminists. They might censor this live. I'm going to show you how you have power in submission. It's a scripture. Let me get this scripture. Let me show them this real quick. I'm gonna show y'all one scripture. Man, where's that scripture at in the Apocrypha, Ron, where he asks who was the greatest in the kingdom? Got it? Give me that. I'm gonna show them power and submission. I'm gonna show women how to use, because some women do know this. They do know how to do this. I'm gonna show y'all something. You know where it is? Grab that for me. First Esdras.
13. You want to start from the beginning, or you want to go straight to the woman part?
The beginning, because I want them to get a understanding.
Okay. The book of First Esdras in your Apocrypha, chapter 4.
Yeah, start from 13.
Verse 13.
Let me see. Yeah, second Esdras 4, and yeah, start at verse 1.
Okay. Verse 1. Then the second that has spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength?
Wait, hold on. It's second Esdras 4 and what?
Was 13.
Second Esdras 4 and let's go up a little bit. Is it? Hold on. Yeah, read 1. Yeah, 4 and 1.
Second Esdras, or First Esdras, chapter 4, verse 1. Then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O you men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all things in him?
Actually, no, I'm sorry. First Esdras 4, and let's start at because it goes into let me see. Read 3 and dang, we might have to start at 1. Start at 1.
First Esdras chapter 3, verse 1. Now when Darius reigned, he made a great feast unto all his subjects.
Read.
And unto all his household, and to all the princes of Media and Persia, and to all the governors and captains and lieutenants that were under him,
Read.
from India unto Ethiopia,
Read.
of 127 provinces.
Read.
And when they had eaten and drinking and being satisfied, were going home.
Read.
Then Darius the king went into his bedchamber and slept, and soon after awaked.
Read.
Then 3 young men that were of the guard that kept the king's body spake one to another, Let every one of us speak a sentence. He that shall overcome, and whose sentence shall seem wiser than the others, unto him shall the king Darius give great gifts.
See, they say, all right, look, we're gonna do a little game. We're gonna play a little game, and whoever wins that game, they're gonna receive great gifts. Read.
And great things in token of victory, as to be clothed in purple, to drink in gold, and to sleep upon gold, and a chariot with girdles of gold, and a head tire of fine linen, and a chain about his neck. And he shall sit next to Darius because of his wisdom, and shall be called Darius his cousin.
Okay, so read verse 10.
Verse 10. The first wrote, wine is the strongest.
See that? So they trying to figure out what's the strongest. So the first man was like, wine. Wine is the strongest. Why? Read.
The second wrote, the king is strongest.
And then the other man said, nah, the king is the strongest. Right? Read.
The third wrote, women are strongest.
But he said, the third one said, nah, women are stronger. So you got wine, the king, and women. Which one is the strongest? Watch this. Read.
The third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory.
Read.
Now when the king was risen up, they took their writings and delivered them unto him. And so he read them. And sending forth, he called all the princes of Persia and Media, and the governors and the captains.
All right, read verse 17.
Verse 17. And he said unto them, declare unto us your mind concerning the writings.
All right, so now they about to talk about which one is stronger. Read.
Then began the first, who has spoken of the strength of wine. And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine?
How strong is wine? Wine is strong. Yeah. And you ever had a wine? Have you ever had a drinking problem? How hard is that to stop? Wine is strong. Wine will destroy your whole life. Yeah. Why get a person the right type of drunk? They'll damn near expose everything to you. Just stay sober and get somebody drunk. Matter of fact, I learned this from 50 Cent. He said, go to the little party, don't drink, let everybody else drink. Pretty soon they'll be sharing with you all their business plans and ideas and telling you, yeah. Give a man a drink. Read.
And he said thus, O ye men, how exceeding strong is wine? It causeth all men to err that drink it. and maketh the mind of the king and of the fatherless child to be all one, of the bondman and of the free man, of the poor man and of the rich. It turneth also every thought into jollity and mirth, so that a man remembereth neither sorrow nor debt.
Read.
And it maketh every heart rich, so that a man remembereth neither king nor governor. And it maketh to speak all things by
You
talents.
ever had somebody, you get that liquid courage? You be 5'5" and get some drink in you. Be talking to a 6-foot dude like what it is, man. Yeah, that liquid courage is for real. That's what he's saying. It make you courage, make you forget sorrow, and it can be your downfall. Read.
And when they are in their cups, they forget their love both to friends and brethren, and a little after draw out swords. But when they are from the wine, they remember not what they have done.
You see that? He says when they drunk, they don't know what the hell happened. He said they draw swords, meaning they about to damn near kill each other. Then when they wake up, they be like, what happened? That's how powerful wine is. Right? Read.
O ye men, is not wine the strongest that enforces to do thus? And when he had so spoken, he held his peace.
All right, so that's wine. Now let's read 4:1.
First Ezra chapter 4, verse 1. Then the second that has spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength that bear rule over sea and land and all things in them?
Now, who controls the world? Man. Who built all these skyscrapers and airplanes and cars and street lights and houses, and who paved the ground? Who died working in the railroads? Who did all of that? Who's out in the deep ocean with oil rigs pulling oil from the ocean ground? Who doing all of that? Who fights in the armies and do all? Who's doing all of that? Who leads the armies? Man, right? Watch this. Read.
Verse 3. But yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things and hath dominion over them. And whatsoever he commandeth them, they do.
Read.
If he bid them make war the one against the other, they do it. If he send them out against the enemies, they go and break down mountains, walls, and towers. They slay and are slain, and transgress not the king's commandment. If they get the victory, they bring all to the king.
King ain't did nothing, but when they win, they're gonna go back to the king and say the king did it. King sat on the throne, let you die on the battlefield. You come back and give everything to the king after you fought. Read.
As well the spoil as all things else. Likewise for those that are no soldiers and have not to do with wars, but use husbandry. When they have reaped again that which they have sown, they bring it to the king and compel one another to pay tribute unto the king.
Read.
And yet he is but one man. If he command to kill, they kill. If he command to spare, they spare.
Read.
If he command to smite, they smite. If he command to make desolate, they make desolate. If he command to build, they build. If he command to cut down, they cut down. If he command to plant, they plant. So all his people and his armies obey him. Furthermore, he lieth down. He eateth and drinketh and taketh his rest. And these keep watch round him. Salakia. Neither may one depart and do his own business.
Read.
Neither disobey him in anything. O ye men, how should not the king be mightiest when in such sort he is obeyed and he held his son?
He said, so the king got to be stronger. If the king tell you better not drink, you better not drink. Off with your head. King controls all these men, right? All right, let's see the third one. What happened? Read.
Verse 13. Then the third, who has spoken of women and of the truth, this was Zerubbabel, began to speak. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine.
He said, it ain't none of those things. I'm going to tell you what's more powerful. Read.
That excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them?
He like, who is it that ruleth them? Read.
Or have the lordship over them?
Read.
Are they not women?
It's like, don't a woman have the rulership and the lordship over them? But watch the reasoning. Read.
Women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. Even of them came they.
You see that? Because ain't it a special place in a man's heart with his mom? It's always that special place. Mom and dad fighting, who you gonna defend? Mom. I know we trying to act like we ain't raised in the hood and all that, and we ain't seen that. But yeah, when the mom and dad was fighting in your head, you naturally want to protect your mom. It's a facts. I know I did. I wanted to cry every time my mom left. I'll cry. Right? It's a special place for mom. But watch this. Read
verse 16. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh.
Read.
These also make garments for men. These bring glory into man. And without woman cannot man be. Yea, and if men have
basically it's a balance. Remember, the Most High says a unjust balance is wickedness, correct? So there's a balance. There is not just man. No, we need our women. Without the women, would there be any you? No. Would these beautiful babies sitting in here? Absolutely not. We need our women. We need to stop fighting against our women. We need to stop tearing each other down, listening to these songs and you a bee and all that and doing all of this crazy stuff to our women, and understand that we need each other. Women, is there anybody that can protect you better than your man? Can you fight and box with a man? So you need your man to do what? Fight and box for you. And all he need is a sandwich. See that? That's payment enough. You telling me you got protection? You got a man that's getting up, going out there. I'm talking about good man. There's some evil men out there. I'm talking about good man. But if you do right by the commandments, you'll find you a good man. The chances of you finding a good man drastically increase when you do what the Bible say do. Now, if you're going out there just dating and what's the dating apps and all of that, then good luck. But when you do what the Bible says do, your chances of finding a good man drastically increases. Especially if you got your father in the truth in your life. Like these little babies right here, they're going to be good because their fathers is in the truth. So the dad's going to be in that process with you, helping you. Pick your man, right? So we need each other. Watch this, read.
Verse 18, yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty?
So when a man go to work and what do he want to go do? He bring it back to his wife. I'm talking about a man that love you. When you got a man that love you, he gonna buy you jewelry. He gonna get you clothes. He gonna do. You ain't even gotta ask him. He just gonna do it for you. You get a good man and make him happy. That's why when you see on social media these women that every time I see a woman, I was laughing with my wife a minute ago. Every time I see a woman that's standing up for men against feminism, you know what I always noticed? 3 things. No. She got a man, she in a nice ass car, or a nice ass house. Every single time I see a woman standing up against feminism, they're always talking in a nice car, a nice house, and got a man. Every time I see a feminist, she always single. And struggling or sad because she got money and don't got a man. So what is that telling you? Men work. Let's be honest, brothers. When we was in the world, who was going out for? The woman. I wasn't in the mirror getting dressed because I'm like, oh, I'm going out with just my niggas. Here we going. Nah, I was like, what girl's gonna be there? Because naturally, men love women. That's just a natural thing. If you're willing to die for your woman, what does that say? That you love your woman. So he said, but that's not it. Watch what he says. Read.
Verse 19, and letting all those things go, do they not gape and even with open mouth and fix their eyes fast on her, and have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold? Or any goodly thing whatsoever? A man leadeth.
What's better than the love of a woman? Tell me right now. Diamond chains? What? What's better than the love of a woman? Somebody tell me. Gold? Yeah, right. Because even the rappers, what do they talk about in all their lyrics? Women. What do they always talk about? From Drake to the Futures, to get the gold, to get the woman. That's it. We need each other, right? That's the unity that the white man don't want us to have. He doesn't want us to appreciate the beauty in both sexes. There's beauty in both of us. There's beauty in being a man, and there's beauty in being a woman. And if we bring that beauty together in a cohesive unit, then you know what you have? More healthier minded children. Because the man is happy, the woman is happy, the children is happy. And then what is that going to say about the community? The community is going to be happy. But dysfunctional households create turmoil and pain and agony and destruction. Now the white man has a system in place to where now we just fall in line with that system of destruction. That's why in the truth, you can't just divorce your wife for anything, fellas. And sisters, you can't just divorce your husband for anything. You lay down with that man, you stay down with that man. If that man ain't committed an act worthy of death, that's your husband. You can't say, well, he didn't tell me really that he really didn't have that job. But you're going to have to stick it out with him, sis. Those are the questions you ask when you court. When you court, do you have a job? Do you have a car? Do you live with your mama? That's what you do. And that's what the Bible tells us to do to protect us from being married and not doing it the right way and wanting to just run away from that marriage. See, watch this. Read.
Verse 20, a man leaveth his own father that brought him up and his own country and cleaveth unto his wife.
It says a man leaves his own country and go to his wife. Read.
He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country.
Look at that. He went with his wife and forgot everything. He just with his wife. Left his country, left his mom, left his dad. Go start his own family. Read.
By this also you must know that women have dominion over you. Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
Who do we go to work for? The family, the woman, the family. That's who we go to work for because we love them. Watch this. Read.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea. And
he's gonna go rob and steal for the woman. Rob and steal for the woman. Is that true? Yeah. Watch this. Read.
And looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he have stolen,
he says, and look at a lion and goes in the darkness. In other words, he gonna face danger for the woman. Who going downstairs first when a robber come in? I hope the man. I mean, nowadays it'd be, babe, go see what happened. Man, you understand? Tell my wife all the time, God forbid if we ever out and a situation happen, don't try to help me, just go run and get help. I'll deal with it. Because me trying to fight them and then looking at you trying to fight and you get knocked out, now I'm going to be distracted. So just get away. Don't try to, because sometimes women try to box with their man. Don't box with your man, sisters. Don't box with your man. He going to do better with you not there. Just go get help. I'm a warrior. I'll deal. I'd rather be bruised up in the hospital than you. And it's a fun fact. Women bruise easier than men. That's a fact. So I don't want my delicate, beautiful wife getting punched in the mouth. Get out of here. I got it. I'll get punched. I'm good. But that's what men do. Guess what? You think my wife makes store runs at night? Hell no, I'm doing that. Matter of fact, she barely make because I'd be scared. They be grabbing our sisters and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to the store. You sit back. Stay home. I'll go get it. Send me a list. I'll do it because I love my wife. You understand? Let's finish reading this because I want to finish this and we'll end with this. Read.
Verse 24, and looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he have stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth to his love. Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother.
Read.
Yea, many many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes.
So yeah, that's the simps. Somebody said it. Yeah. Brothers that be simping for the woman. That woman can do whatever you ever met a man that she can do whatever she want, talk to multiple dudes? Nah, he just still gonna be there. Yeah. Don't be that man, fellas. All right. But if you got a good woman in this truth, you labor for her and you love her, just like she's supposed to love you. Read.
Verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned.
So now read verse 29. Let's get to the point.
Verse 29. Yet did I see him in a pain, the king's concubine.
Now watch this. Now he got even colder. He's like, yeah, because I just seen the king and his concubine, and what did she do? Read.
The daughter of the admirable Bartachus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking.
Wait, read verse 28. I'm sorry.
Verse 28. And now do you not believe me? Is not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him?
So who can go up and touch the king? Who can just walk up? La. What's up, king? Can anybody do that? What's up, bro? You touch the king like that? What's this? Read.
Verse 29. Yet did I see him in a pain, the king's concubine, the daughter of the admirable Bartachus, sitting at the right hand of the king, and taking the crown from the king's head.
So this woman sat by the king, took his crown off his head. What? Read.
And setting it upon her own
and
head.
Put it on her own head. Now, can I walk up to the king? What up, king? And put the crown on my head? Throw you to the lions. But this woman was able to do that. Read.
She also struck the king with her left hand.
And she struck the king with her left hand. Play too much. Did the king take her hand? Hell no. What did he do? Read.
And yet for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth.
He just gaped and gazed. You're so beautiful. Just read.
If she laughed upon him, he laughed also.
If she laughed, he laughed. Read.
But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter, that she might be reconciled to him again.
You see that? We get that example with Ruth. So what am I telling y'all, sisters? Your beauty is in your submission. She couldn't do that if she was acting like a brawly girl, man. She wouldn't have been able to do that. What she did was she loved him, served him, treated him good, flirted with him, got on his good side, and anything she wanted, she was able to get. That's how you win your love for your man, sisters. When your man come home, try this, right? Maybe y'all do this already. I don't know. When your man come home and you want something, right? You want to talk to your man about something or something's bothering you. When he come in the door, don't be like, nigga, I've been waiting for you to come home all day so I can tell you about yourself because, nigga, don't do that to him. Cook him some food. His favorite dish. Take off his coat. Tell him go take a shower. Don't worry about nothing. Lay the kids down. When get out the shower, give him his food. And you know what you're going to have then? You're going to have a man that's open. He's going to be like, dang, she doing it. And anything you ask, he's going to be willing to hear you out. But when you try to come, I always tell people this. You can't fight aggression with aggression. A man is a natural aggressive person. You can't think that you're going to brawl up on him and get what you want. That doesn't work, sisters. I don't know. Feminism told y'all that work. That don't work. You have to be in your divine feminism, meaning your essence as a woman, because a negative and a positive do what? They attract. Positive and positives don't. So if you're trying to come and box with your man, the only thing you're going to get is heartache. But if you love your man, guess what? It's like a figure eight. It's a figure eight. A man provides, protects, cater to his wife, and a woman loves and submits and serves her husband. And it's like a figure eight. Y'all both happy because you get what you want. Because truthfully, sisters, you don't even want a feminine man. What woman want a soft man? But then you make it hard for us because you don't want a soft man. But do you want a man though? Because it's like, anything that's opposite of a soft man is like a man that's going to have it his way though. So it's kind of like, I don't want no pushover man. But then it's like, you don't want a man to not be a pushover. It's like, it's kind of confusing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of what women describe they want sons. But then when they get sons, they don't want them. You get what I'm saying? Like they want a man that's a son. I want a man, but I don't want a man to tell me what to do. Well, that's not a man. It's not a man. Like men are the head. I want a man, but I want a man to let me be me. That
Upon him, he laughed also.
Uh-huh.
But she told him the king was fain to flatter that she might be reconciled to him again.
Con.
Oh, ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they
Con.
do thus?
All right, so that's it. So yeah, family, sorry about the technical difficulties. My computer died, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. Get a most high hand clap. Oh, praises. All right, family. We love y'all online. I know it's kind of staticking because I got my charger in. I got to figure out why when I put my charger in, it statics like that. But we love you guys, and until next time, you know, Most High in Christ bless you guys. Hopefully, you guys were edified. And until next time, we'll see you guys next Sabbath, at 4:30. Shalom, family online. Love you guys. Shalom.